That was Ishka Manzoor, and I hope that you are doing well. Vanakkam, namaste, assalamu alaikum, goeiemorgen. It's 9 o'clock. Well, it's 7 minutes past 9, really. And it is a beautiful Wednesday filled with, I think, joy, gratitude, whatever. Choose your mood the way you choose your clothes, right? So we've got our weekly appointment with Coach Zaid. Everybody, I hope your tea and biscuits is ready. Please be careful. You might spit it out at some stage, but that is our warning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing this morning, Coach Zaid?
Oh, I'm looking forward to triggering people today. Let's see how many people we can trigger today.
We have a trigger happy coach.
Yes.
And that's absolutely fine because every Wednesday between 9 and 10, we discuss critical issues, issues of mental health, societal health, whatever it is that we need to address. I mean, and we open to topics from you as well, 077-280-4792. If there's something you would like Coach Zaid to speak to us about, to share his pearls of wisdom about. So without further ado, Coach Zaid, what is the question we are asking our listeners today?
Do you really know who you are? Like, why are you the way you are? Is it because of fate, of you were just born that way, so you're making the most of it, or where did you get the sense of the fact that this is who you are?
That is such a packed, question. It's a loaded question, that one.
Most people don't stop to consider it. They just try to be okay with accepting themselves.
Yeah. And who, what influences who we are? Where do we get our sense of self from? When someone says, "Who are you?" I'll be like, my name is Nazia. What more do you want to know?
Yeah.
But there's so much more. So who are we? What makes up the self?
That's a big question, right? And the one thing I just want to put out as a kind of disclaimer, not even a disclaimer, just something I want people to be aware of, is that when we're asking this question, it's not about the usual cliched approach to it, like, no, I'm not asking you what are you doing, I'm not asking you what's your name, I'm asking you who you are. That's not what we're talking about. Because who you are is revealed in different ways, in different situations, in different circumstances, all sorts of things, right? We're not, that favorite word of mine, monolithic. We're not this one big block of something that is always going to be that way, no matter what the circumstance, no matter who we're talking to, no matter what it is that we need. We're going through different life stages all the time, right? As you grow older, it's less frequent that you go through a change in life stage, but we're growing all the time. Tomorrow is a different experience from today, which is a different experience from yesterday. Just because we don't see the differences doesn't mean it's not different. Mm-hmm. And what it demands from us is what it reveals about who we are. And if we're not paying attention, we'll just surrender to our instinctive nature without actually claiming our humanity.
Mm-hmm. That's so, that just makes me think about when people say, "Who are you?" We start with, I'm a radio host.
Yeah. I'm a life coach.
I'm a life coach. I'm a lawyer. I'm an admin. Like, why do we go there first?
I think it's all completely dependent on context, right? It's like if you go to a family gathering and someone asks you who you are, you can tell them where you fit into the family structure.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell them you're a life coach or a radio host.
Depends on the family.
Exactly. And if you're doing that, then that means that you are that much more kind of desperate or determined to have people see you for the success that you believe you've become.
Yeah.
See me for all of the things I've accomplished.
Yeah.
So then you become defined by your accomplishments, and then you think that's who you are. And then if that doesn't work out, then you're completely distraught and you don't know what you're going to do with your life now, because that was who I was and who am I now. Yeah. And then reinvention and all of that seems so scary.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing is that if we don't understand that there's range, there's differences in where we are operating in life and who we're operating with, we're going to try to be this one single version in all settings. And then we're going to complain that people don't get us.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It's
not supposed to work.
Yeah. It's not sustainable. I mean, many people worked in very, very high positions in corporate,
Yeah.
and and you meet them, and instead of telling us how they are, they tell us who. Do you know, I used to do A, B, and C, and I was the operations manager, and I had so many people working under me, and it's just like you can see that that was their whole identity. But I love what you're saying about we move to different seasons of our lives, and that means that we different versions in those seasons, or
Yes.
how.
I think Muhammad Ali said it quite nicely when he said that if you show me a man who has the same views at the age of 50 that he did at the age of 20, I'll show you a man who has wasted 30 years of his life. Right? And that's the thing. You're supposed to grow with life. You're not supposed to just try to cope with life.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate, absolutely hate coping mechanisms, because it destroys the sweetness of life. So if you go through life trying to cope and trying to just like make sure you don't get snowed under and you don't get overwhelmed in that, then you're not enjoying life. You're not living life. You're just reacting to life. And that reveals who you think you are. So who you think you are, like Henry Ford said, sure, I'm dropping names today. Like Henry Ford said, that if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So if you believe that you are good or you're bad, but you don't have anything of substance behind it, you're just going to act according to that belief. But because you want to like kind of hide your shame from people seeing you that way, the way you see yourself, you're going to come up with very elaborate defense mechanisms and distractions and things like that, so that you can get them to think more highly of you than you think of yourself.
I think it's so important for us to think of our context, where we are in life, who we are becoming. I mean, do you think that your your surroundings, they say show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
There's another version of that also that says show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Right? And again, it talks to the same thing, right? What I make myself available to is a reflection of who I am. And that's a painful point for a lot of people to accept. Think about it. What you make yourself available to, what you made yourself available to, that was a reflection of what you thought of yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
So if you make yourself available to something that is undignified or demeaning or humiliating, you made yourself available to the behavior just because you wanted to be cool, because you wanted to get their attention, you wanted people to think you were so funny. That tells you what it is that you were prioritizing around who you are and what you needed from that situation. So if you don't have a healthy sense of who you are, you lose yourself to situations and circumstances and people.
And let's talk about the influencers and the TikTok, kind of influences that, can basically positively impact you, because it's not all negative.
True. It's always what you take from it.
Yeah.
Right? What you take from life is more important than what life throws at you.
Yeah.
So what social media throws at you also, it's what you take from it, and whether you're going to keep scrolling or you're going to pause long enough for it to give you more of it.
Yeah.
That's a reflection of who you are and what you're looking for. And if you're going to judge yourself and hold on to that judgment of yourself relative to one defining experience, one defining moment, or one slip, or one failure, then that's what you think of yourself. That's not what life is teaching you about yourself.
Yeah, and I think also when you fail, you failed. You're not a failure.
Yes.
There's a difference.
If you think you're a failure, then you are.
Henry Ford.
But if you think you're a failure and you believe that everyone else sees you as a failure as well, and then you start hating on them for thinking you're a failure because they're not supposed to think that of you because they don't know what you know and all of that, then you end up being exhausted before you even wake up in the morning.
Yeah. Overthinking.
Yep. Let alone getting out of bed. Before you even open your eyes in the morning, you're already tired.
Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about knowing yourself, what are the healthy ways to know ourselves?
I think it's more a matter of what do we hold ourselves to?
Okay.
What is my aspirational goal for myself in life? And the aspirational goal mustn't be a career goal. That's one of many goals that we should have.
I want to pause there because that is the defining question from the time we were young. What do you want to be? What do you want to study? What do you want to do? What career do you want to go into? And you think, my goodness, what if I don't know?
Yeah, but I wanted to be a firefighter.
Yeah, but I wanted to be a marine biologist, politician. And you're thinking to yourself, if I don't, you get anxiety. If I don't know, and I really genuinely was one of those people who didn't know
Yes.
what I wanted to study. And it was not okay. I had literally, I think I had panic attacks and I didn't even know, because all my friends were like, I want to do optometry, I want to go into radiology, I want to go into occupational, and I'm there going, I just want to get out of school. Like something
Get a
is,
job.
I'm trying to get a job. I
So I
want
got
to take a
money.
gap year. I want to, and you have all of these, and it was perfectly okay. Now
Yeah.
when I look back, I'm like, wow. If I could talk to my younger self, I would definitely say there's absolutely nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the pressure we constantly say to people who are in school, the students, the youth, what do you want to do? Not how are you?
Yes.
What are your hobbies? Because that's a direct indication of where you could go.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing? So this thing of knowing what you need to do at all, defining goals as career. That's what we're not talking about, just career. What other goals should we have emotionally? It's not just about career and focus on that.
The emotional side of it I find quite interesting. It's like, how are you supposed to develop a goal for yourself emotionally? Because that means you have to develop any goal, you have to have a point of reference.
Yeah.
You have to have a standard by
Yeah.
which you're judging yourself, right? And if you think that standard is something that is good, that is worthwhile achieving, or that people are going to respect or appreciate or celebrate, then that's what will give you reason to want to achieve that standard or compare yourself to that standard.
Yeah.
So how does it work when it comes to emotions? How am I supposed to compare myself to someone else relative to where I want to be emotionally?
Yeah.
You have to know why it is that you feel the way you do. And if you don't know why it is that you feel the way you do, you're going to surrender to the way you feel, and then you're going to expect everyone must just bend over backwards to accommodate you because, I can't help it. This is just how I am.
Yeah. This is just who I am.
Yes.
This is just who I am. I can't help it. This is just who I am. How many times have we heard that?
Yes. And so,
Couples, for example. This is just who I am.
he knew this about me. She knew this about me when we got married.
Yeah,
Why
you
is it
knew
that you are
this when you
speaking so
met
much
me.
now? Yeah. No. If you want to be that rigid about who you are, that means you're defensive. And if you're defensive, it means that you're afraid that you're going to either get things wrong or you're going to be rejected. So you protect yourself from that rejection or from that failure or from that inadequacy that you think people are going to see in you by demanding that they just accept you for who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what standard do you hold yourself to? The standard of how other people see you, or do you hold yourself to a standard that you think, hey, this is a good thing, I want to aspire to be that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so who you are is a reflection of what you think of yourself, not what others think of you.
Yeah.
And if you think it's based on what others think of you, then that means that you're more invested in what you think others think of you rather than what you think of yourself.
Yeah. It brings me back to that saying, I'm not who you think I am. I'm not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am.
Yes. And if you don't realize you're doing that, you're going to beat yourself down, and you're going to also sometimes overinflate your accomplishments because you're so driven by reactions that you get from other people.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, right? The more successful you are in your career, for example, or in business, the less you can rely on what other people think of you.
So true.
Because people love to be in close proximity to wealth and success and power and authority and kind of like, social standing.
And the thing is, the more you are, in your water, in your lane, doing your thing, developing yourself, whatever, you don't understand that you are impacting people just by being in your lane. They say stay in your lane. It's unintentional. I often find people who say, I didn't even know that I was in competition with someone.
Yes.
Until people pointed it out to me that, this person, they've done certain things that you're like, oh really? I wasn't aware. I was just talking to them as if, and you don't realize that. But standing or holding your own and just being happy and doing your thing, it does affect people around you. It doesn't
Yes.
but negativity also, it infects faster than positivity. What do you think?
It does, because you can always plead for sympathy with negativity, but with positivity, you have to keep showing up to maintain it.
We are getting some really good feedback. We've got Mo saying, this is a question that people have been on a quest for their whole lives to answer. Who am I?
I think it's more important to decide who you want to be rather than who you should be or have to be or who you think you are. Aging is unavoidable, right? But growing old is a choice. And I believe that you start growing old when you stop living curiously or with passion about what you can still do. When you have no purpose in life, when you have nothing that you're striving towards, when you have nothing to serve as a greater purpose, as a greater goal, then you're waiting for death.
Yeah.
And then you're hoping and praying that you're going to have your dignity and your health until death finally comes. Because that's one thing that's guaranteed. Death and taxes, right? Two things.
Yeah.
But the point is that if that's how you're living your life, if you're defined by a single accomplishment or a single goal, and once you've achieved that goal, it's like, okay, I've arrived now. No, you haven't arrived. You're still breathing. That means there's still something new to do. But if you're so invested in being seen that way, you're going to get to that point, and then you're going to try your damnedest, your hardest, to make sure that you can maintain it and sustain it, and that people always have reason to respect it.
Yeah.
So that's why you're then going to go into every situation, every interaction, every relationship, and you're going to say, hey, I did this and I did that, and I was working for this person, and I was reporting to that person, and we accomplished this and we did that. What is it when we stories from Rhodesia?
Yeah.
Same.
And you know what? I personally feel that when you, like, for example, if you expose yourself to different people, when you're open to looking at the actual people's lifestyles around the world, when you're open to education and just exposure, you get to see what other people's goals are, is just to eat for the day, have family around them. We are geared towards retirement and investments, and how successful are you, and hustle culture, and we're in the fast lane all the time. Are you achieving? Are you growing? Are you wow, are you reaching for the higher fruit? What are you doing? And then when you escape this and you get a break, or you get away and you see the way other people live, they're like, why are you so highly strung? Relax, chill. Here's a coconut. There's a palm tree. Sit down, relax, watch the ocean. You sitting there going, but you guys have no goals. You guys have, I can't live like this. And eventually your mind stalls, and you're like, but actually, what am I doing?
Yeah. Why are you doing it?
Yes. The why comes up.
And the why is something that most people avoid because they can't genuinely answer it.
Yeah.
Except to say that if I don't, there's going to be consequences.
Yeah.
And that's one of the worst reasons to do anything, is to do it because you just have to avoid a consequence. That's like paying a fine. You pay a fine because you don't want to get locked up.
Yeah.
How good does it feel to pay that fine?
Yeah.
It's like, shoo, dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, at least I know when I get to the next roadblock, I don't have to worry about it because I know they've got nothing on me.
Yeah.
There's no fulfillment, there's no sweetness, there's no joy in it. It's just the avoidance of an issue. So how much of what you're doing in life is to avoid an issue? And here's the painful part, right? Is that majority of people that I come across, in fact, I would say 99.5% at least, of the people I come across, they get a job, they follow a career, and they do these things all because if they don't, they're going to have a negative outcome. So they might enjoy what they do, or they might feel passionate about what they do, but their motive for doing it, for exerting themselves in it and trying to achieve more in it, is not because they want to add value in that field. It's because if they don't, they're going to be homeless. They're not going to be able to pay their bills. They won't be able to support their families. They won't be able to drive the car that they want, to have the social standing that they want, to have the social life that they want. So everything is driven by, if I don't, then there's a consequence that I don't want. So that's why I have to.
Sure. And that changes the entire fulfillment aspect, because
All
you're
of
no
it.
longer fulfilled
Sweetness,
now. It's
the joy, the fulfillment, the accomplishment, the sense of self, the purpose, all of it is gone because you're so focused on avoiding negative outcomes, right? So most people are defined by how many negative outcomes they can avoid. And then they feel accomplished in that.
Yeah. That's very powerful. Never forget your why.
Or if you don't have a why, then it's time to start discovering it, right? Because it's always there. It's just you don't realize it's there because, and this goes a bit deeper, right? But let's just throw it out there and see what people do with it. Who you are is not the choice you made. Who you are is the being, the consciousness behind that choice. Why did you believe that that was a good choice to make, or that was the only choice you had? You need to connect with who you are, not what you had to do. When we're born curious. We didn't learn how to walk because we were afraid that if we didn't know how to walk, we can get left behind. Fortunately, we didn't have that presence of mind. Otherwise, a lot of us would still be crawling around or dragging ourselves on our tummy.
Yeah.
because we'd be so afraid of getting it wrong and failing, right? So because we didn't have the sensibility and the awareness to worry about other people's opinions, we accomplished great things. Relative to that little baby squealing and twisting and turning on the bed, to a little toddler that's running and jumping and solving block puzzles and things, that's a massive growth and a massive achievement. All by themselves. Because I keep telling people, don't think that you taught your child how to walk. You didn't. You only created the opportunity for them to learn.
That is so powerful. I'm starting to think that, as we were, you are absolutely 100%. When we were unaware of what people thought, and it didn't influence our quest to learn to walk, to learn to talk, to be curious, what great things did we not achieve? So the secret here is, what did we allow in?
And why? Why is it important to consider certain people's opinions? Right? Because if you don't have your own purpose that drives what it is that you're doing or what you're trying to achieve, then everyone's opinion is going to need to be considered. And that's how you feel overwhelmed, because
That's
now you
exhausting.
don't know how you're going to satisfy all these people.
Yeah, then you need to get the coconut and the palm tree and you just sit and look at the water for a good day.
And by the time you eventually do that, you get the tsunami warning.
Oh my God.
And you see, it's just my fate, my taqdeer, my kismet. It wasn't meant to be. I must have done something really bad in the previous life because this karma catching up with me.
Thank you very much, Coach Zaid, for flipping the script on my very ideal moment.
But that's how the moment you take your eye off the ball
Yeah.
is when someone else is going to kick it away from you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to think like, hey, what happened to it? It was here just now. So you need to be aware of what it is that you're dealing with. You can't just lose yourself to your aspiration, your ambition,
Yeah.
because you affect other people's lives and other people's lives affect you. And the more oblivious you are to that dimension of your life, the greater the chances are that you're going to end up being very duressed and very distressed and very depressed, because you're not going to realize how you're letting people down, and they're going to drift away, and you're going to think they didn't care. So your self-awareness is relative to what your motives are about what you're doing in life. And if your motives are always driven towards wanting to be enough for everyone else, wanting other people to admire you and appreciate you, you're not going to be self-aware.
Yeah.
You're going to know them better than you know yourself.
Yeah. And then also you will be a slave to, to other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Validation is also a drug. I believe validation's a drug. What do you think?
It is, but for me, the addiction is always an indication of what we are trying to avoid, right?
Okay.
I wouldn't have an addiction if I didn't need something to avoid an unpleasant kind of situation or reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the escape that I'm more invested in rather than the addiction.
Yeah. I think it's Dr. Gabor Mate who said, don't tell me about the addiction. Talk to me about the pain.
Exactly. We lose sight of the human. And if you lose sight of your humanness, how human you are and what it is that your human needs are, you're not going to see it in others, because you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
And then you're going to treat others as if they are also just a career in the making. They're just the next project, the next holiday that you need to spend with.
Yeah. There are some people, though, who they know who they are, right? And you know that they are sure of who they are because they're successful in every aspect, family, career. But they swing into overconfidence. Whereas they would come around you and they would have people around them and they would be there going, but did you think of doing this? But where are you in your life right now? That is also,
Is that then successful?
the negative side, or they deem themselves as successful.
But yes, they do, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people see them as successful and try to kind of imitate
Yes.
their model so that they can also be successful.
Yeah.
But if you lack sensitivity, if you lack understanding and awareness and empathy and compassion, are you really successful? Because when all is said and done and you've accumulated the wealth and you've got no reason, you're not wanting for anything, what are you left with? You're left with a lot of wealth and a lot of materialism and no good quality relationships that you really draw strength from or you take comfort from in your twilight years.
Okay. So what does it take to know ourselves?
You need to consider what is it that you're holding yourself to and why, right? What standard If you want to do something, what's your reason for doing it? Is it the fear of a negative consequence if you don't do it? Or is it because you genuinely connect with the fact that you can create value in that space? You can add something to that space that if you didn't do it, no one else would. Because we want to believe that we're significant. We have to feel we're significant. That's the one human need that every one of us has in every situation that we can't switch off. Is we want to know that we're of positive consequence to the people around us. And if we believe that our ability to be of positive consequence is under threat, then you see the other side of us.
How well do you cope under pressure?
Yes. Depends on how well you're defined by what it is that feels pressurizing to you.
Yeah, yeah. So true. Do you think that what role does society play in the making of who we are?
Everyone blames society and no one accepts that they're part of society.
Yeah.
We're pointing a finger at ourselves. And we're blaming everyone else for doing it. You have to be invested in what society thinks of you for that to have an influence on you. Right? So if you see something in society that you think is problematic, you can't just sit and complain about it. You have to do something about it. Right? Have the tough discussions, the unpopular discussions, take action, live your life in a way that proves that there's greater value in doing it differently rather than just what I call deconstructing it. Right? Everyone wants to go around and deconstruct everyone else's efforts and complain and criticize and have all of these insulting and condescending kind of views about why it is that this is wrong and that is wrong and that is wrong. Okay, genius. Now that you know everything that's wrong, how are you going to show us what's right? How are you going to demonstrate through your abilities and your way of living that there's a better way to do it?
I also I feel that there's a lot of misconceptions around authenticity, and that word I know triggers you from the beginning. Authenticity. Am I being the realist version of myself? Am I showing up as the version of myself that I can be proud of? Who am I really?
And every one of those questions you just asked requires me to see myself through someone else's eyes. Your authentic self is when you just act with conviction. It's not when you contemplate, am I being authentic? You keep yourself honest about, this is what I claim to stand for, so I need to stand for it. Done. How someone else will experience you in that, they'll experience your authenticity, but you can't try to be authentic.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be authentic, you're undermining it. You're undermining your own authenticity. In the same way, you can't profess to be humble because the profession of humility is arrogance. You have to first believe you're all that before you can say you're not that. So you have to first believe that you're all that before you can say, hey, I'm authentic. No, you're not authentic. The moment you claim you're authentic, you're not.
I feel like I have whiplash.
Oh, I'm not going to be popular after this. I just realized what I just
But
said.
it's popular to be talking about authenticity. It's a popular word. It's a popular way to look at yourself. Am I being the realist version of myself? And how do I show up for other people?
Oh, my favorite these days is how people bring in quantum physics into the discussion about your versions of yourself and versions of reality. Oh, please, man.
Yes.
Whether there's a million versions of you out there or not, it doesn't change the fact that you have to live this version that you're in.
It's sounding schizophrenic now that you are, saying it like this. But, they say, I think it's Robin Sharma who says that the power of authenticity of being yourself is resisting the seductions of society.
True, but that's a defensive approach, so I don't buy into that. I don't buy into the defensiveness and to the coping approach. Right? Because as much as I acknowledge that we are going to lose ourselves to being defensive and to trying to cope at times, it's not a sustainable way to live. And it's definitely not an authentic way to live.
What do we fear? Why is it so, they say, like to be yourself, it's like it's rare. You rarely find real people.
A lot of people will say that what they fear is losing control. Right? We can't be out of control because, people rely on us and depend on us and we have to achieve things and there's going to be consequences and we're not going to make this bill and that payment and all of these things, right? So they're afraid of losing control of their life. But if you're afraid of losing control of your life, that means you're working with the incorrect assumption that you are in control. And the only time you realize you're not in control is when, despite your best efforts, things don't work out. And then your bubble is burst. And suddenly you're exposed to the reality of life because up until that point you were living in a bubble. So, what are you really driven by? What is it that you really believe you're capable of? How much trust do you have in yourself and in others and in the process of life itself? Versus how much of it do you think that, hey, you got this because no one's going to put you down? Yeah.
Yeah.
No one might put you down, but life itself will beat you up. Because that's how life works.
Yeah.
When you get cocky about life, when you get arrogant about life, when you assume that you have a plan, life is going to teach you that you don't.
That is very, very powerful. I hope that, we are taking everything that we must. We're trying to be authentic in this moment. We are, just the fact that we are all existing in this, no man is an island, right? But when we are surrounded by people and your guard isn't up, and you allow these things, these opinions to get to you, to start to shape you, to sort of dumb you down, to dilute the essence of you, that's when you find yourself miserable.
True, but I just want to respond to like that no man is an island. We need to stop picking on men, please. No person is an island because no woman is an island either.
On some days, we feel all men should be on an island.
And not that island, please. No. That island needs to be destroyed.
It's,
Yeah.
and how? If you don't know who you are, how does this impact your relationships?
But here's the thing, right? If you're trying to be an island, if you're trying to be independent, that's a defense mechanism. Because it protects you from depending and relying on others. And the reason why you wouldn't want to depend or rely on others is because you have a trust issue.
What role does trauma play in that? Trauma response.
I think today you woke up this morning and you made a list of all the trigger words for me and you said, okay, I'm going to find a way to mention every one of these. So how far down the list are you now?
You were way too peaceful when you came in here today. So yes.
Trauma
Trauma
is what you
response,
trauma is what you decide it is.
Yeah.
Some people will experience something that's unpleasant and they'll call it traumatic, and someone else will look at it and think like, seriously, are you a snowflake? But it's all relative, it's subjective, right? And even if you experience something that is like visibly and tangibly and physically traumatic, right? Once the experience is over, what you take from it is what will keep you traumatized by it or not.
True.
So what you take from your experiences in life in general, not just with traumatic experiences, that is what defines how you see the world.
So
That instills beliefs in you that you don't realize you've adopted.
and not just adopted, you've become. Some
live it.
people become their response.
Yes.
They become that response. It becomes their identity, and then that is who they are.
So if you experience a really severe betrayal of trust, someone you never ever thought would ever treat you that way or do that to you, that can be traumatic, right? It unnerves, it breaks down every aspiration, every goal you were looking forward to that was hinged on the authenticity and the substance and the wholesomeness of that relationship. So that experience, as a result of that, becomes traumatic for you. But now if you convince yourself that that is a reflection of what you can expect from people, then that becomes your belief in life.
Yeah.
And then you go through life preemptively defending yourself and protecting yourself from ever having to trust in that way again. So you start treating every single person with suspicion. And no matter how sincere they are, you're always going to keep yourself reserved to a point where you know you're not going to fully commit and fully engage and fully surrender to the relationship because
What's your
you've been
motive?
there before. Yes.
What's your agenda?
I trusted before and I know what happened, so I'm not going to make myself available to that again. No one's going to use me in that way again.
Yeah.
And at some point, after you realize you're actually losing more than you're gaining from that approach, you're going to look back on that original betrayal and you're going to think,
Ew.
hold on, they also were going through a whole lot.
Yeah.
And maybe what I needed from them was just one step too far for them because of where they were at, not because of what they thought of me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. What you take from it is relative to your vantage point. So if you have a low self-esteem, if you think you're not worth it, if you think that you are defined by how people treat you, then how people treat you is going to define you.
Yeah. And it's so important that people actually get to that point of, like, wow, wait, hold a minute, pause. I think it's Mel Robbins who talks about the pause. Before you respond, pause. Before you act, like 3 seconds. She says, pause for 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
just leave that where it is.
No, no, I can't. Like, imagine you trying to have a spontaneous conversation with someone, right? A really spirited discussion. And every time you say something, it's like, just hold on, I need to process this.
Yes, just pause.
I just need to
Right?
gather my thoughts and regain my senses and collect my words.
Yeah.
And then you respond.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think her principle is pause before you act out of emotion.
Okay, but how do you know you're acting out of emotion? Because when you're acting out of emotion, you actually think you're justified in your rage, you're justified in your disappointment, you're justified in your sadness, whatever it is. So I don't, as much as it's well intentioned, I don't see it as being practical advice that you can actually implement. That's going
What
to.
would you say?
I'm saying that you need to have a more greater sense of self, so that your mindfulness in the moment is there by default. It's not there by you trying to focus on being mindful.
And what if the people around you don't accept that version of you or that response? They like, oh, you're a rebel,
What are you more invested in? Are
must-
you more invested
but-
in being accepted, or are you more invested in getting people to understand why you think it's important?
Which brings me back to why society is so important, because they condition us, right, from a young
Right.
age.
But how does that conditioning happen? Because we keep talking about society and about family and things like that as if there's a deliberate and conscious, manipulated kind of conditioning that's happening. It isn't.
Yeah.
It's a consequence of what it is that people find acceptable or unacceptable, or what they're willing to tolerate or not tolerate.
And beliefs can change. In you have the ability to swap out the beliefs. For example, if you were taught from a young age that girls must be seen and not heard, right? And you get to university and they're like, you need to give a speech. You get to school and they're like, come, you need to be heard now. You need to be on the debate team. And you're like, what? Now how?
Or you have a health experience in public and a health event, and there's only a female medical assistant that can
Yes.
help you.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, oh no, maybe there is a place for women to also have these skills.
Yes. And women have to fight
Right.
for their rightful place at the table.
But that's you definitely had a list of of triggers. My question to people who want to fight for a place at the table
Yeah.
is, why are you fighting for a place at someone else's table? If you have that competence and that capability and those resources, get your own table. Make your own table. Get your
Amen.
own group. Right? Because a social change is because of momentum. It's not because of trying to convince someone that they must allow you to implement or influence that change.
Yes.
So the only way you can gain momentum is if you get people who believe in your why. Your why. You need to convince them about why there's merit and there's value and there's promise in what it is that you're putting forward. And if you can do that, and you're more invested in that, then you won't be persuaded or dissuaded when you see people come up with resistance, or they just avoid having the conversation with you or whatever. You need to understand what is it that you're offering versus what is it that they are willing to receive. And then depending on how much you are invested in what you think they should receive because it's going to be beneficial, that becomes your purpose. But now if you don't have the conviction in what you stand for, and you need people to cooperate, and you need people to understand and support and all of that, then you don't have conviction in what you're doing.
So they say when you know your why, your how becomes easy.
Yes. I like that. I think it was, I'm not going to try to remember the name now. I've dropped enough names today. But there's a famous quote that says something to the effect that the person who knows how will always have a job, and the person who knows why will always be his boss.
Oh, wow.
Right? So if you have a vision, I think it was someone else, I also came across recently another very interesting quote, and I'm forgetting the names now, but it says something about the person with a vision must collaborate with the person who knows how to get things done. You can't be both. Right? Sometimes you can excel at being both in a certain domain, but generally, if you have a vision, you need someone else who really thrives in the detail, in the execution of it.
Yeah.
You need them to make it real. And that's why you never have an island. You have to collaborate.
Yeah.
And it's through collaboration that we find fulfillment. It's not through proving ourselves and then getting everyone to celebrate and worship us.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why they say it gets lonely at the top.
yeah.
The more successful you are, the more you're going to find that you won't be able to trust whether people are with you or admiring you or complimenting you because of who you are,
Yeah.
or because of
What
them
you
wanting
have.
to like share in what you have,
Yeah, yeah.
or being close to power, close to influence and authority.
Very difficult. And who you are extends into every area of your life.
Yeah.
Every single area. You can't be different you can't be a different version of yourself. Despite people saying, are you the same version at work? Like, are you the same person at work? Like, are you like this at home?
But which version is supposed to be you? Are you? Who are you? Are you the person that's at work? Are you the person who's at home? Or are you the person who's in your social setting?
By the time those masks change.
Or are you the person who's driving alone with that music blaring or whatever it is on the long open road by yourself? Is that who you are? Who are you? And if you can't answer that meaningfully, and if you don't realize that the answer to that question is that you're not just one version all the time, you're going to hold yourself to a standard that is unrealistic and that is so kind of constraining and restraining that it's going to frustrate you, and then you're going to end up exploding on the wrong people.
Inauthentic. Coach Zaid, how did you find yourself?
I think I'm still finding myself in many ways. The one thing that I've always found myself doing as an inclination is being curious, right? I rarely accept things just for the sake of accepting it. If there's something I need to accept, the only time I'll accept it without understanding why or what's the essence of it is if it's coming from a source that's already got credibility to me. Then I'll accept it because it's from that source and I understand and I appreciate that that source has merit.
Yeah.
Then I'll take it on board and then I'll try to understand it after I take it on board. So it's about living curiously, and it's about living with purpose, with conviction, and not being defined by people. People are going to let you down all the time, and you're going to let people down all the time. But if you become defined by that, if your relationships become defined by that, then you're just going to be in defense mode all the time, and you're not going to enjoy life because you're always going to be guarding yourself from the next disappointment, and the next letdown, and the next rejection or betrayal.
What advice do you have for us who are journeying? You also journeying. What do you have advice for us in this day and age, facing what we are facing?
Take more time to reflect. People don't take enough time to reflect. But when I say reflect, I don't mean journaling where you're just putting everything down on paper and then it's reinforcing what you believe about yourself. I don't mean affirmations. I don't mean positive sentiments about yourself and all of that. I'm talking of true reflection, right? Look back on something that was important that happened and consider what it reveals about who you were in that moment and what you think you could have done differently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hold yourself to a higher standard, not to someone else's standard.
Yeah. And be accountable, right?
Be accountable. If you're not accountable, if you're not willing to accept accountability for what you got wrong, then that reveals what you think of yourself.
This is such a brutally honest and I think a very, very helpful topic that we've covered today. And what's your parting pearls of wisdom for our listeners?
Stop taking yourself so seriously. It's not that deep. Life is deep, but it will reveal itself when you're ready to see it. But if you take yourself so seriously, everything is going to become this defining moment for you. And then you're going to be so intense that you're just going to be a killjoy. And look around you. Look at politics. Look at government. Look at taxes. Look at the economy. Look at the world.
Look at Argentina.
Look at Argentina. Oh, I'm happy about that anyway. Yeah. They deserved it. Getting to that point because of their cheating. Anyway. Yeah, come at me. I don't care. The point is that you need to just develop a sense of humor about life.
Yeah.
If you don't develop a sense of humor about life, life is going to beat you down every day of the week.
Yeah.
And when I say a sense of humor, I don't mean being flippant and being irresponsible and being reckless and not taking accountability. I'm saying hold yourself to a higher standard, but recognize that you will get things wrong and people around you will get things wrong. And just the same way that you got things wrong, not because you intended to, but because you didn't realize you were getting it wrong, afford people the same privilege of the benefit of the doubt of like, okay, you might not have intended it, but listen, that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
So let's have a conversation about it, or let's decide how we're going to move on from it so that it doesn't happen again. Hold yourself accountable in the same way you hold others accountable. And if you keep yourself honest relative to what you believe you stand for, then you can achieve great things because you're holding yourself to a higher standard.
Yeah.
You're not trying to make excuses for yourself while everyone else is held to a higher standard in front of you.
Yeah. I just want to say that if your therapist tells you it's not that deep, you're already in trouble. If your coach, sorry, not therapist, if you don't want, for the last time, I don't want to press on that final land, what do you call it, whatever. That thing that's hiding there under, and you don't even know it's there, that bomb, right? But it's Minesweeper with Code Sage here. You're like, got it right, boom, But if we can just come to that point of it's not that deep, it's not that serious. None of us are getting out of here alive, and we're not taking any of this with us.
Yes.
We're not taking the cars, the money, the homes. We're building mansions. We're going to be in a literal 6 feet under. How small is that hole? All of us. We're going to be alive. Death is the ultimate equalizer.
It is. And the thing is, like, that should give you reason for pause.
Yeah.
What is it that you want to leave as your legacy? Wealth? Yeah, that's easy to leave. And it's easy to lose as well. So what imprint do you want to have on the lives of the people that you shared time with in this world?
Yeah.
What is it that you want them to carry forward as a lasting legacy of their experiences and the wisdom they took from you and what they shared with you? Right? Because that's what carries forward for generations.
Yeah.
So while you might be so fixated on the generational trauma and the generational dysfunction that you might have inherited, understand that while you're grappling with that, that's what you're giving forward to the next generation. So look back with understanding and look forward with conviction, and between the two, you'll figure your way out.
Yo, that was powerful. Jazakallah khair to Asma, who's our regular every Wednesday. She never ever fails to message us. Zaid. Today, she wrote your name thrice this week. Today's topic is so powerful. These are the kinds of conversations that inspire self-awareness and personal growth. Jazakallah khair to you and to Nazia for the thought-provoking show. May Allah reward your efforts and continue to make this platform a source of benefit for us all. I mean that's what it's about, right? It's about self-awareness, introspection. If we can just move the needle a little bit, I think then that is the objective achieved. Coach Sage, Jazakallah khair. And we are so glad that you weren't dodging bullets this past week and that you are doing well. And then, inshallah, next week, Wednesday, we are definitely back with more thought-provoking material for our listeners. So we hope we got your blood pressure going.
Never. I enjoy the challenge.
We're bringing it next week.
Let's see if you can fluster me next week.
Eish. Thank you so much. Have an awesome week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.